got a chance to see the first half of Season 3 of Reacher. So let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as I rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zank. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, I just got back from GAMA. That's why I haven't posted anything in the last few days. GAMA is a board game convention for retailers and publishers. So I went and took my games to talk to some publishers. This is my game with Mark Spears called Mythlords, a classic monsters. Of course, we're going to do some other different versions as well, and that's why I wanted to talk to some publishers, and it looks like I did get some interest, so let's see if that goes down or not. And remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can, subscribe to the channel, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. And also remember too that if you watched my channel before, we're on the last 30 hours of the Green Hornet 90th anniversary anthology novel hardcover. It's also available digitally on Kickstarter. Again, we're on our last 30 hours or so, and it is with great stories by Timothy Zahn, who created Thrawn for Star Wars, as well as Kevin J. Anderson, who writes for Dune, among others. Bill Willingham, cover by one of the covers, because we just unlocked the second one just today, by Matt Wagner, who did Batman and Grendel. Second cover now by Dennis Calero from Marvel Noir. And on top of that, he's doing the interior chapter art as well. It's going to be just amazing. We have some really amazing people involved in this. That are very, very passionate. And you go to greenhornetnoir.com or click the link in the description below and jump in that right now, because there's not going to be many hours left here. And if you miss it, they will not be available in stores signed. It'll be more expensive, all that stuff, so you don't want to miss out. So go to there right now. Also, today's my birthday, which I'll be putting this out probably tomorrow or the next day, so you're going to have missed it. But this is the birthday present I got in from myself. It is the Savick Kirstie Alley. Kirstie Alley or Kirstie Alley? From Wrath of Khan, Star Trek II. This is the... I do have the other jacket, but this is the regular one. Regeula, regular one. Jacket from Genesis. Yeah, pretty cool. So, of course, when I collect these things, I put them on layaway and I just make payments. So they come in, 6, 7, 8 months later after I make all the payments. And this just happened to be that one. All right, so let's talk about the first half of Reacher. This is Season 3. And it's going to be 8 episodes. And looks like they're releasing one a week now. They released like the first 3 together. And then they released one. And I guess they're going to release one for the next month until it's over. And so I got to watch the first 4 episodes. So let's talk about them and how they compare to the previous seasons. So this is going to have some spoilers in it. So if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch those first 4 episodes. And I won't do any big reveals or anything like that. But at this point in time, there really isn't any big reveals. It's just, I am going to talk about the beginning and how that kind of matches into some of the other stuff that they're doing, though. So that'll be the only thing that has any kind of spoiler to it. But again, Alan Ritchson is reprising the role from the Lee Child novels. They do a really good job. I have not read the novel, so I don't know what the adaptation looks like. But I can tell you that he does a really good job of whatever this character in the novels is. However that is, done, I can tell you he's done a really good job. Of course, I think Tom Cruise played the role previous, and they're, of course, playing it completely different because I don't know if they describe him as like a giant. But he is definitely a giant in here, where, of course, Tom Cruise is not. So it'd be interesting to see what his how they really describe him in the novels. But the first one was him going to this small town and him basically getting in trouble, getting arrested, and then ended up working with the police because he is an MP who's kind of like Bill Bixby in the Hulk, kind of just wandering around and kind of being homeless. I mean, the guy's got money because he's getting, military money sent to him, so it's not like he doesn't have any money coming in. I don't know how he gets that money, considering he has he has a direct deposit, I would assume. But anyway, so the first one was more about that, and it was the group that was created from the police detective and then the police officer, which was, I want to say Willingham. What was her name? But she was just in Strange Darling, right? Was not the same actress from Strange Darling, who was really, really good. I really liked her, and then they had a relationship in the first one, which I think really kind of worked. So the first season I thought was pretty good, and then the second season, which I know a lot of people like the first season better than the second, I am completely the opposite. I like the second season a lot better than the first season. I don't know if a lot better, but I thought it was better. And the reason being is that he had his whole team with Neagley and stuff like that. And he had her in the first season, but the second season they were more of a team. It was just a group, right, where everybody had their own things. They would squabble and all this other stuff, but they had each other's backs, and I really kind of liked that team environment of the second season. And Serinda Swan I thought was really good in there as well, and I just liked it in general. I thought it was really, really good, a good season. And we had the mystery of whatever, the guy getting dropped out of the, I guess it was one of their people, and he wanted one of their former members of their group, and he wanted to clear his name, and that was the basic story plot of the second season. This one, again, he's back on his own, and he's working with the cops again. So it's almost like a reprise of the first season, except he's working with the feds as opposed to the local police department. And we start out with him in the first scene going to sell records, which I thought was strange. Where is he carrying these records around? So I was already kind of going, what? But anyway, he sees this kid about to be abducted, and he gets involved and ends up saving the kid and ends up killing a cop. That's the whole first 5-10 minutes of the first episode. And I was really like, well, this is really convenient. Where the records come from again? He just happens to be at the right place at the right time, and to save this kid. And I say kid, but he's more of college age. And I don't know. I was really kind of taken aback by the fact that it was so convenient. But then we learn later that it was all a setup. So that's about the only real spoiler I'm going to tell you here is that it was all a setup. But you find that out in the first episode. And I'm like, oh, okay. Now I'm back in. Now I'm back in because you lost me, but now I'm back in. So the whole thing was for him to get in with Anthony Michael Hall's group because he ends up working with the feds because they lost an informant, and he's trying to find someone he thought that he assassinated. He had killed this guy, whose name is Quinn, but for some reason now the guy resurfaced, so he didn't kill him. And now he's running this organization. so we end up finding that it's all kind of intertwining. So the cops are helmed by Sonia Cassidy playing Susan Duffy, and she's really good. She is from The Last Kingdom. Of course, she doesn't have the accent that she has here in The Last Kingdom. And she's got her own little group, and he's going in undercover. And it's really funny because she ends up seeing him like practically naked, and she's like, "Oh my god!" So it's funny that the women are allowed to sexually objectify men, but not the other way around. But I like her little group, but it doesn't really match the group from the first season. I thought that the guy from iZombie and the girl from Strange Darling, I think they were a better pairing with him than this group. So that's why I'm gonna say that the third season is not as good as the other two seasons. But there is a bigger guy in here. We didn't even see him in the last episode. But we have a guy that's bigger than Alan Ritchson, which I think is hard to do. And they do a strength test, which I found very funny. I found it very funny. But overall, the show is enjoyable. The guy is just ruthless, which I like. I like how his mind works. And this past one was a big flashback about the Quinn character. And the Quinn character is played by, if I could find his name, he's just been in everything. The guy was in, of course, Anthony Michael Hall always plays a good villain, I think. My favorite thing with him is still going to be The Dead Zone. That's going to be, even with all of the stuff that he did as a teenager or whatever else, Dead Zone is still my favorite thing that he's ever done. But anyway, the guy, I can't find his name, the guy playing Quinn, he was in Tokyo Drift. He was in Jurassic World. I guess he has a almost permanent thing on Chicago Med. So he's just been in everything. He's a really good actor, and he's got this very very stern look about him where he can play a good guy or a bad guy, and it works for him. Brian T. Yeah, he's really good. But anyway, he's playing the villain here, but we really haven't gotten to meet him quite yet. We only see him in flashbacks or in photos. So this will be where we go into the last 4 episodes. But this one's a little less a mystery and more of a revenge story. And he's still trying to. It's a tracking. He's trying to track the guy, and that's why he's going undercover and to find a way to get in there and find the feds undercover. Not really undercover agent. She's an asset. It was an asset that they end up losing. But anyway, that's it from me. But I'll do another review on the next half of it. But the first episode was called Persuader. That's where he ended up, saving the kid, and we find out, that was all a big setup. Then we see him on the inside of the organization, and from there we end up going a little bit deeper and finding out possibly where the informant was. And the last one that was called Number 2 with a Bullet. And the last episode that I just watched was called Dominique, which was the catalyst for him assassinating the guy, or he thought assassinating the guy. So there's obviously a lot more to it. I'm not really giving anything away there. But yeah, that's it. So remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. Please subscribe to the channel as well. Ring that bell, ding, ding. And remember, too, that we are in the last hours of Green Hornet 90th Anniversary Anthology with stories by Timothy Zahn, Kevin J. Anderson, Bill Willingham, Keith Candido. There's just a pile of people that are involved in this. Cover art by Matt Wagner, Dennis Calero, interior art by Dennis Calero as well. It's a prose story, but we have chapter art, basically. Go to greenhornetnoir.com or click the link in the description below. All right, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you guys think of Reacher and how it compares to the other seasons. All right, talk to you soon.